And right across Europe, right across Germany, right across Russia, I prophesied that Europe shall have the message of God.
Genesis.
Hello, my name's Richard. I'm a retired medical doctor, so I suppose my proper name is Dr. Richard Kent, but actually everybody calls me Richard. And for the next 1 hour, we're going to be talking about evolution is impossible. And I'd like you to focus mostly on the screen rather than me. We work out of a charity and give completely free PowerPoint conferences anywhere in the world. So if your church or organisation, literally anywhere in the world, would like any of these conferences, any of these subjects, we'll come give them to you. I mostly work in death row in the Philippines with my pastor, but we have worked in 27 other countries. Right, this is one of a series of 12 subjects. What happens after we die? Evangelism is easy. Creation, the Genesis account. Evolution is impossible. The discovery of Noah's Ark, Sodom and Gomorrah. The Exodus crossing Mount Sinai and the Ark of the Covenant. The crucifixion of Jesus, the Shroud of Turin proves the resurrection, the Bible is supernatural, what does God think about abortion, the pre-tribulation rapture of all Christians in our lifetime, God's perfect plan for our finances, and how to have a miracle. And they're all available free on finalfrontier.org.uk and freechristianteaching.org. We have two websites because some people prefer one and some people prefer the other. Now this will be made into a DVD which can actually be freely downloaded, copied and distributed from the following websites. Well, the ones I mentioned already, finalfrontier.org.uk and freechristianteaching.org, but also we're uploading it to videogoogle.com, and you can also see it on YouTube as well, but you can't download it from YouTube. So on our websites there's free downloadable DVDs, free downloadable books, free movies to watch, free conferences anywhere in the world, and free information. So if you want to know more about creation, because for the next hour we're going to be talking about evolution, if you want to know about creation, just look on our websites. And I want to say how grateful we are to Howard and Leslie Conda of Genesis Revelation TV, in my opinion the best Christian television channel in the UK, for so kindly greatly helping in the making of these programs. They very kindly offer their facilities in their wonderful studio in New Malden, and I'm really, really grateful. In fact, without their facilities, this simply wouldn't be possible. Just a brief copyright notice. All information and images are intended to be used under the fair use clause of the copyright laws. But actually we know most of the people we got our information from, and some of the information is actually from ourselves. Dr. Kent Hovind, Dr. Chuck Missler, Dr. Carl Bohr, Dr. David Roseveare, and Dr. Roger Oakland. The Bible says right at the beginning, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. That's how the Bible starts, and in fact God created everything. I'm just going to repeat a little bit of the first teaching on creation, and then we'll get stuck into evolution is impossible, because it really is impossible on a scientific basis. God created the heavens, and then he created the solar system, and then he created the planets and the earth and the clouds and the sea and the birds and the dolphins and the dogs and even you and me. And the person who did that, of course, is Jesus Christ himself. He's the one who created everything 6,000 years ago. Now the first question we all need to ask ourselves and have the clear answer to is actually how old is the whole universe and how old is planet Earth according to the Bible. And this is very important because most people in school and university are taught that this universe is 20 billion years old. That's simply not true, not according to the Bible or according to all the science that I've ever looked at. And we're going to be talking about that over the next 1 hour. Now, Luke was a medical doctor, and Luke chapter 3 he gave the ancestors of Jesus Christ, the genealogy of Jesus Christ. It starts in Luke chapter 3, starting at verse 23. It gives 77 generations. I'm not going to read them through them all because it would take a long time. But trust me, there are 77 generations, and that's a very important number because 77 is the supernatural number of God. And it says that Adam was the son of God, and it goes down through Seth and Enos and all the other ones, including names you might remember, like Methuselah and Noah and Abraham and Isaac, and all the way down through Joseph and to Jesus himself. 77 generations. Now, I've assigned a number, 50, for each of the generations. Now, I know nowadays a generation tends to be about 30, but I've assigned 50 simply because before the flood, which was 4,400 years ago, the patriarchs lived much longer. So just roughly, I've assigned 77 generations of 50 years each, makes a total of 3,850 years. Now this is approximate. It wouldn't matter if it was 40 years, 50 years, 60 years or 70 years or whatever. We want approximate figures. So approximately from the creation of Adam to the birth of Jesus is 4,000 years. And we know from the birth of Jesus to now is roughly 2,000 years. So the creation of Adam to now is roughly 6,000 years. However, Jesus said something very, very important. He said it in Mark 10 verse 6, from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. He also said it in Matthew 19:4, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female? So what's Jesus saying here? He's basically saying that Adam and Eve were created at the very beginning of the creation. Well, we've just worked out that Adam and Eve were in fact created 6,000 years ago, so guess what? We now know, because of what Jesus said, how old the whole universe is. It's 6,000 years old. And that's a tremendous shock for a lot of people, because the evolutionists have taught in schools and universities that this universe started out of nothing, something called the Big Bang, 20 billion years ago. They also teach that the Earth formed about 4.6 billion years ago, and life appeared 3 billion years ago by chance out of the primordial slime, and man evolved 3 million years ago. Man evolved from the animals. That's of course not what the Bible says. I just read the scriptures to you from Luke chapter 3, where it says Adam is the son of God, not the son of a monkey. Now, this puts creation in direct and enormous conflict with evolution, because you can see that creation happened 6,000 years ago and evolution happened 20 billion years ago. And there's a huge difference between 6,000 years and 20 billion years. So we're going to look very carefully at evolution. Now there are actually 6 types of evolution. There's cosmic evolution, which is the origin of time, space and matter. That's the Big Bang. Then there's chemical evolution. That's the origin of higher elements from hydrogen. There's stellar and planetary evolution, that's the origin of stars and planets. There's organic evolution, which is the origin of life. Then there's macroevolution, which is changing from one kind or species to another kind or species. And then there's microevolution, which is variation within kinds. And frankly, only this one, you've only ever seen microevolution. None of you have ever seen, and nor have I, nor has anybody ever seen, actually been present at any of these other so-called evolutions. Cosmic evolution, chemical evolution, stellar and planetary evolution, organic evolution or macroevolution has never been seen or observed. Now, Charles Darwin wrote his book in 1859, it's called The Origin of Species. And actually it's changed the course of history. He wrote his book, which is all about evolution, his theory, and we're going to look quite carefully at what he actually saw and what he deduced. What he actually observed, he went to the Galapagos Islands, which is about 600 miles west of South America. What he actually observed was finches with different length and breadths of beak. Now, what he actually observed was microevolution, or variation within one species. He actually saw all these 14 different types of finches, and he noticed that it had different length and breadths of beaks.